Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. Okay, today is my day that I like to record my question and answer videos because it is the day, it's Sunday, and everybody's been taken care of. We're kind of chilling, relaxing. It's the only day that I curl my hair. So I thought this is a good day to do this, but I came outside and I had to laugh because I'm like, there is literally no place to go that's quiet. And so I was in the house and the kids are playing, so they're loud. So then I came outside on the deck and I'm like, the sun was coming and shining through it. I'm like, it's so bright. And then I came outside and now my dog is barking. So I hope that she stops barking. She was doing just great sleeping and I came out really quiet, but as soon as she saw that I was here, she started barking. So I hope that she stops barking here. So I'm gonna go through my list and then I'm gonna try to answer some questions here. So the first one is, how do I manage multiple personalities and keep everyone happy? So there goes Ruby, he's here. She's my barking dog, my coonhound. Okay, so how do you manage multiple personalities, keep everyone happy? And that is, that's just the balance of like, some kids are gonna have to be stretched sometimes and some kids are gonna have to be put in their comfort zone. And so I know like some of my kids do not enjoy shopping. We go shopping and they are just grumpy and miserable and just do not like it. And so I used to get mad with it and then I'm like, you know what, I don't need to do that. And so I know there's times that I just let those kids stay home. That's fine with me. But I know like we had gone away and we went to the Southern Christmas show this weekend and I know my one daughter does not enjoy shopping at all, but we were going, all the girls, older girls, to have a good mom-daughter, you know, bonding time, and so she just didn't enjoy it. And so the whole time, like, I could tell she was not happy. And so back in the day, I probably would have been like, you need to have a better attitude, you need to have this, and I probably would have done that. I know I would have done that, would have done with my older ones, but as I'm getting better, I'm like, okay, she's not happy, so I'm going to try my best to be happy and encouraging. I know there was a few things that I saw and I'm like, oh, would you like this? You know, would you like me to buy this for you? No. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I was not about to, I was just going out of my way to be kind and nice because I understand they were not comfortable. Trying to find ways to make them a little bit happy and, oh, did you find something you like? And, you know, made sure that I tried to help them because I knew it was a crazy, not a fun time for them. And so by the end of the night, instead of being angry, instead of being like, you just were so miserable the whole time and blah, 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 I just, you know what? Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming with me and your sisters so that we could create some memories together. I know it wasn't your favorite thing, but I do appreciate you coming. So you just reiterate that. You get home, they're able to unwind a little bit, and then you're like, okay, then they, you know, they come along and I said, thank you for so much for coming. I know it wasn't your favorite, but I do appreciate you coming. And so just those kinds of things. I know we deal with that with like, especially like girl time of the month, okay? And so mommies, you can relate. And so we have a bunch of different girls that have a bunch of different, they get a little bit, you know, hormonally upset at the moment. And so you just have to, instead of like, you need to have a good attitude, you need to have this, like these kind of things go, you just kind of recognize, okay, where's that coming from? Why are they snippy? Why are they angry? And I'm like, okay, it's probably that time. So just to kind of let them do their thing a little bit. Not, I mean, we don't accept complete, they don't allow them to be just total like angry and miserable the whole time, but I do let like a certain degree of it. I'm like, okay, well, why don't you know, make sure you get a rest today, and you know, if we're gonna go to the park walk, why don't you come and walk? You know, you don't have to walk the full amount, but why don't you come just to get out a little bit? You'll feel a whole lot better. And so I make sure that we do that, and just to be able to recognize and see it, not so much like dig. It's like, okay, they have bad days too, and so we do as well. I know, like, if I'm not in my comfort zone, like, I will go and do things like fishing. Do not like fishing, and so I don't like the dirty river, don't like it, but I'll go. And like, I'm just like, okay, and I'm just trying to have a good time. My husband will do his best to like make things be comfortable for me and things like that. But it's like, you just kind of like bend a little bit for the ones that aren't always so outgoing. We have some that don't like to be with everybody at once because it is overwhelming. And sometimes I'll sit and talk with them, and I know we do big giant parties and we do big things where there's lots of noise with the little kids. And sometimes it's overwhelming for one of my children. And so, you know, I'm like, okay, I know this is really tough for you, but could you come up for a little bit and, you know, and interact and have some fun game time with everybody? Then you can go back to your room and have some quiet time or whatever. And so they do that. And then I make sure that I go in there and like, oh, you know, I thank you for doing that. Thank you for coming out and spending some time. We really appreciate that. And so just make sure that they know that that time they came, we were thankful for. You know what I mean? And then they go back and I make sure they get their time, because I know we all get together. We have people come and stay with us and stuff like that, our friends and stuff. And it does get overwhelming when you've got 20, 30 people in a household that's already got 12 people in it. And so I just make sure that I make those moments to have some quiet time, you know. And I know when the holidays are rolling around here, we're going to have family come and stay with us. And I know it'll be a little bit more for some of them. And so I make sure that, you know what, go ahead and have a little bit of time in your room on your tablet and go ahead and just kind of chill and relax and have some quiet, even when everybody else is playing, doing their thing, because I know that that's important, and I know that that child needs that downtime. And so you just got to be able to recognize and see which one needs which type of thing, and then just kind of, bend a little bit, try to make some, some wishes that they really would like, and think, if that was you, would you want to be, if you didn't like being around a lot of people, would you want to be thrown into all that? No. And so you've got to just stretch them a little bit, but you don't have to do it full force. So that's what we do. I hope that helps. Okay, burnout and what to do. And so yes, I think this is like a whole lot of mamas out there. This was me too. Like, I know I would, back in the day, it's like I would get so like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta clean my house, I gotta do this, and I would go four floors all the time and do, and then it was like I was just wasted, and I'd sit around and relax for a few days because I just could not do it. And so like, I'd go to my house and I'd look and I'd say, oh, there's so much mess in here, I just need to weed everything out, and I'd do it all at one time, get it all done, and then I'd be like exhausted for a week. And so that was never good. So what I've learned to do is balance and manage my time. And so this comes with years of practice. If you watch these YouTube videos, you can learn, you younger mamas, you can learn from us older mommies that went through all this stuff. So you don't have to do the same thing we did, which is awesome. And then when you grow up and you're sharing with the younger mamas, you're gonna be able to help them. And then hopefully, as this generations keep growing, we're gonna have this whole mommy thing figured out really well. So I know, like, I have to balance out my life. I have to know that my cleaning, like instead of doing it all in one day and being so crazy and so overwhelmed like I used to do, I stretch it out over the week. And so you see my cleaning charts. I'll link it in this video as well below, but you can go and see what we do each day. I balance it out. Instead of like looking at my house and I see that the mirrors need to be clean, instead of like going, I gotta clean those mirrors right now and clean them, I go, nope, you know what? On Thursday is the mirror cleaning day, so I'm just gonna wait until Thursday and get that done. If we're gonna have somebody come over or something like that, then maybe I would, do some kind of cleaning like that. And so I'll do that. If somebody's gonna come, I'll do a quick cleanup. That's not a problem. But normally, like, most of the time it's just us here. So then I'll go, okay, that door is okay, window is dirty, I can wait till Thursday to get that done. So I don't freak out and try to get it all done like right away. I know that eventually it's going to get done. Ruby's gonna sit behind me and chew on a plastic bowl. It's got food in it. She's so good. And so same thing with deep cleaning. If you don't have a plan, then you just start looking at your house and you're like, oh my goodness, look at the dust up there on that fan blade, and oh, that window ledge is so gross, and oh, these carpets are so dirty, and oh, the fireplace, and all these things you start looking at. And I know as a mom, when I was at home nursing babies, I'd be nursing babies and I would just sit there and look at windows and go, those are so dirty. And then I'd look at the walls and think, look at all the fingerprints. And I did a lot of sitting when I had babies and nursing babies, because you do a lot of that, and you start thinking about all those things, and it starts getting you like crazy, and then you like, boom, got to do it all in one day, and you just get so stressed out and so overwhelmed, you get it done, and then like you're in bed for a few days after that. And so the key is to plan and prepare and get it done. So then I'll take my monthly cleaning and I will take out, and usually I aim for every Friday. And so on Fridays I will do my I just have to laugh. My dog, it's so funny. She's been like making noise, so I picked it up and threw it so she would go away from me, and then she just brought it back to the same spot. So she probably wants to be on camera. This is Ruby. Anyways, and so then I'll plan out, I know that the first week of my month I clean out, and I kind of deep clean my kitchen and dining room. And so I've got my papers and I know what I got to do, and I kind of start it during the week in the beginning if I can, and then if not, usually I do it on Friday. Now, do I do that every single month? No, not at all. And so there'll be times that we won't do it for a couple months, but I know, and that's okay. It's just you do it a little bit each month, and then it's not so overwhelming. Because if you only clean the top of your refrigerator off once a year, it's really dirty. But if you wipe it off every month, it's not that dirty on top, and it's a real quick cleaning. So we do that. If you do a little bit each time, it's not a big overwhelming once a year. And so, because we would do the once a year cleaning, and it took days and weeks, and the spring cleaning and the fall cleaning, and it just took so much time. And I'm like, why am I doing that? If I just do a little bit each month, then it doesn't become overwhelming. It doesn't become a big giant thing to do. And so that's what I like to do for our home. And I just have found that works easier, because I remember I would set up a week or two and go, okay, it's going to be deep cleaning in the spring, deep cleaning in the fall. Well, then it turned into deep cleaning in the winter and deep cleaning in the summer, and there was always this deep cleaning, and I'm like, why am I doing this? And so planning it out a little bit, that helps a whole lot more. So I think that helps with the burnout. That helps with everything. If you kind of plan out, it's not so bad, because I know, like, schooling wise, the same thing. If you've got like so much schooling that it's just way too much and you do, it does become burnout. So we have learned over the years just to kind of stick to the basics. And then as we can, we add more stuff into it. And we know that if we're going to have a busier load on history, we're not going to do a busy load on science because it's just too much. And so I know for myself, I don't get burnout. I don't get burnout anymore at all because I've learned to like balance of what I do. I know that I have a wonderful friend, and I've always wanted to learn Spanish because I've learned French in high school, and I thought, let me teach that to my kids. And so we started doing it, and some of them got it, and then I realized, we live in a predominant Hispanic community, and I thought it would be great to do Spanish. And so we picked up doing a little Spanish course this year, and so we just do a little bit of lesson with it. I had a good friend that said, there's some moms that are gonna get together, and we're gonna do like maybe once every 2 weeks or once every week, lessons on Spanish, because the homeschooling mom taught it, and it was really great to learn. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds like so much fun. And then I started like thinking, and of course I didn't stop and ask the Lord before I told her, yeah, that sounds great. I just thought, oh, that sounds like a good idea. That'd be great because I can learn so much faster. But then I like started looking at the time that they were going to be doing it and all these things, and I thought in my head, this is not going to work for me. As much as I want to do this, I know it's not going to work. So after praying about it, it's like, I know the Lord did not give me the go ahead and do that. And so I just had to say, you know what, I can't do this. I can't do this because it's going to be one more thing in my day that's going to be disruptive. It's going to put our Saturdays off. My husband's home on the weekends, and if we need to get something done, that's my Saturdays, my day to work on my videos here, work on. It's just going to disrupt a lot of it. So I knew that I could not do that. So I had to say no to that. And so it's with everything. If you ask the Lord what you're supposed to do, He'll direct you what to do. If you want to help at church, if the Lord doesn't give you the go ahead, helping at church is a wonderful thing, volunteering. But guess what? If the Lord doesn't tell you to do it, it can become a burden upon what you do. And I know that sounds like weird to some people, right? Like, yes, but volunteering is a good thing. Volunteering is a great thing. But if the Lord does not have you do it and you start volunteering, it's going to be crazy in your house. Because I know back in the day I thought it's a good thing to help, and then I would help and do all these things. Well, I had babies that take care of, and I had to do all these things. And then when my babies got sick, guess what? Someone had to stay home and watch them, and my husband was not going to do these things. But I already had these commitments because he's working 70 plus hours a week and all these things. And so I had to go, wait a minute, I need to do this on God's time, when God says it's right to do that. And so for years I had to just help in the nursery, and it was me just sitting in the nursery with my kids, and that worked out great because I was already in there. And then I was able to start and help with the preschool because my kids were grown up. But now, Stephen is 6, and I can help out way more in church now than I was able to before. And now, like, if somebody doesn't feel well and they have to stay home, then they can stay home with it. It's not like it's going to be a huge disrupt, on like someone other parent in the family. And so you just have to be very careful of what you volunteer, what you sign up to do. Homeschool co-ops, all those things, like all those, they're all great things. They're all great. There's so many activities you can do that's a great thing. But you have to make sure that you put your family first, God first, and your family, and see what the Lord is going to have your family to do. And maybe it is lots of activities, lots of volunteering. That's a good thing, but you can get burned out by just doing that. If you forget to take some time for yourself, it's not going to work. And so be careful, because you can do this, especially with a lot of kids. You can start adding activities that sound so great, but you forget, like, you need to make time for your family. You need to make time for just downtime. You need to make time for, whatever you want to do, just spur of the moment type things with your family. And so seeking the Lord, asking Him exactly what you need to be doing. If He tells you no, then just don't do it, and that's okay. And don't feel bad about it. Don't make the guilt come upon you. Just go, I know this is not the time to do this in my life. Eventually, if I really want to do this, God will have this work. And so very key and pertinent about being burned out. I know I don't get burned out because I enjoy everything that I do. When I help and I volunteer at church, it's something the Lord told me to do it, and it was way out of what I would normally do, and I enjoy it. I love it. It's easy for me. It comes naturally. All those things, it makes time for it. There's no like trying to figure out how to make it work. I hope that makes sense. And so it just happens. Same thing with my YouTube videos here. This is a whole nother thing to put on a mama that's already busy taking care of a whole household. And so, it's easy. It's not hard. I get up in the morning and I do it before everybody gets up, and it's like, this is enjoyable for me. And so in recording, I really don't have to think about setting up a recording thing for the day. It's like we just record life and what we do, and that's what is working. And so that sun is really bright. Hopefully it's not too bright on my camera here. Ooh, sunshine. I gotta move a little bit. Okay, so I had to move a little bit because sunshine was right in my eyeballs. So like doing the YouTube, this is something the Lord I know directed me to do, and it's like it just becomes easy. It's not, if something is creating chaos in your life and it's not, there is something wrong. Stop for a minute, evaluate what the stress is, evaluate what, okay, why is this so crazy? Why is it so crazy right now in my life? Why am I feeling stressed? Why am I doing it? And see what it is, because more than likely you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. So that's what we do in our families to avoid burnout. That's what I do in my family to avoid burnout. Okay, someone asked, what do we do for finances and budgeting for the holidays? Nothing. No. My husband loves holidays. He loves Christmas. He always feels that since we have a large family, he doesn't so much anymore, I don't think, but I know when the kids were, back in the day when we didn't have a lot of money and we just got by with just, paycheck to paycheck, and then Christmas would come around and he'd be like, that's the time that he feels like the kids, they didn't get a whole lot of stuff through the year, so like that's his time to get what what the kids really want for. So we've always done good Christmases. Even when we didn't really have a lot of money, we always made do with like having really good Christmases for the kids, and they were just, sometimes we just did creative making gifts and just things like that, but they always felt like they had some kind of a lot of presents for Christmas, because that's important to my husband. That's fine. Me, I would pick like 2 or 3 presents and be done. That's my choice. My husband likes to go out for Christmas and have it all out, and that's great. My kids love it. It's good. I'm practical. He's just like the one, the kids, they need to have and experience, have a wonderful Christmas. And so for our family, what we do is we I say we set a budget. I think that I like start out with a number, and then I go, okay, well, this is what I'll set aside. And so, and we don't use debt. We don't do debt. No, do not use your credit cards for Christmas presents. Do not go and pay cash, because you're going to be paying, I don't even know, but I feel like I've read somewhere where the average person pays for Christmas until like June. Oh, could not imagine that. So no, Christmas is paid for before Christmas. It is paid for when we buy the gifts. If we can't go shopping until Christmas Eve, we don't go shopping until Christmas Eve. I don't care how good the deals are. You wait until you have that money in hand, and then you go buy the gifts. And so we've done that before. We've waited until Christmas Eve and went shopping, and that is quite all right. It's like, but we just did not have the money until then. And so I'll kind of set a budget. I'll talk to my husband. I even talked to him this year. I'm like, what do you think you want to spend for Christmas? And he says, I just don't know yet. I'll let you know. So I laugh and go, okay. And so what I do is I get the kids' list of the things that they want, and they sit and write them out, and they get ideas. The good thing is they don't watch a lot of TV commercials. They have, like apps with the commercials and stuff they see, but they don't really know like what all the greatest, coolest toys are out there. So their lists are kind of simple and easy. And so they'll sit down and make a list. And so I've got that list for all of them. And so I'm like, okay, that's a good list, and then some of them will keep adding, some will just kind of keep it simplified. And so then what I do is I kind of set a little amount, and then I I know for myself I already have some money set aside for Christmas, and so I will go, and maybe I'm thinking this year that I'm going to buy a lot on Amazon. And so just shopping's great, but when you have a lot of kids, sometimes it's hard to be able to find days to go out. And I know our December is filling up with things that we're going to do in activities, so I might just do, kids, let's look on Amazon and see what you want, we'll put it in the shopping cart, and I'll just buy it that way, and I'm good with that. So I know I'll probably place an order with that and then get it, and then my husband will go, okay, then he'll go, but I feel like the piles need to be bigger. And I'm thinking in my head, I kind of know in my head an idea of what he thinks we'll spend, but we like to have the money in hand and then be able to go get it. And so I think he'll, even though you have a savings, don't necessarily take all your savings for Christmas. That's never a good idea. So don't do that. And so then we'll, and then I usually get the piles, and I'll be like, okay, this is how much this is worth. And then he'll go, oh, honey, that's not enough. So he'll go, let's spend, another same amount of that. And then I'll be like, okay. So I have my little list of things for the kids, and then I'll just order those, get them. I get all their gifts together, and I let them look at it as a pile. And I say, honey, this is how much, whatever we're going to spend on each kid costs. And then he'll go, okay, that looks good. Or he'll look at like another kid's pile and go, ooh, that one's smaller, even though they're the same amount of money. So what he'll do is he'll go, okay, well, let's spend just a little bit more and get smaller gifts for this kid and bigger kids gifts for that kid. And so that's just what we do. I know it's not really a set budget, and I'm okay with that. We don't, like I said, just how Christmas rolls. And so I know both of our businesses make money this time of year, and so we just kind of wait and see what happens, and that's okay with me. I used to love to go shopping early. I think I love one of my favorite times is being done in October with presents, and that was so nice. But I've learned that it's okay if you order gifts the week of Christmas and get them. It doesn't matter. And so it's like Amazon has 2 days shipping, and if you have to run to Walmart before Christmas, that's okay too. And so I used to stress, but I don't anymore. I've learned that, you know what, it's okay. There's plenty of things out there. The merchandise market has always got things for you to buy, so you're never going to be without something. And so that's what we do for our family. And then another question is, how do your husband and wife balance time? And so you just find time. You find time. I know back when we had a lot of little ones, and I talked about this. We had like the marriage video. You have to watch my honey and I go on a date video, and so we talk a lot about these things. And so I know that we don't necessarily say, okay, it's date, we have a date every week, or we have a date, you know, once a month, or we do that. We try to aim for once a month because life just gets busy and it's hard, and so we try to do something like that, like go out for dinner and stuff like that, but it doesn't always happen. I mean, we try to, that's our goal. With just having so many kids, it's like we want to make sure we choose time with our kids and together. Our time is together, like as family. That's what we really enjoy doing. And so what we'll do is just make time, like to, you know, every night we sit in bed and we talk. We talk when we come home about our day, talk about how things are. You know, when he comes home from work, my husband and I talk for that. We'll get up in the morning, we'll talk a few minutes before he goes to work, and so we'll text throughout the day. And I know back in the day when we had a lot of little babies, we would sit, I talked about the sweetheart tree, and sitting under there, and we would have, you know, we would just talk about things like that. So it's like, we just make the time for it. I know it's hard when you have babies and you have a nursing baby and you have a baby in bed with you the whole time, but you just have to make the time to do it. And so it's a lot harder. I think it's a lot harder for moms, because if you've got a baby and it's strapped to you all day long, it's a lot harder to go, okay, I would much rather sleep right now than spend 20 minutes talking to my husband. Which sounds bad, but I know those days. And so try to force yourself to make sure you do that, even if you don't want to. And I know even now, like my husband likes to stay up late. I like to go to bed I could fall asleep by 9:30 every day and be up by 5 in the morning. I like my early time, but I know that sometime during the week, like especially if we have gone and we haven't seen each other for a long period of time, it's just been busy, I make sure that okay, even though I'm really tired right now and I want to go to bed, I stay up a little bit later and I talk with my husband. And so then I go, okay, Lord, you just have to multiply my sleep, because I had to, not that I had to, you have to multiply my sleep time, because I know that I want to spend this time with my husband, but I also want to get up in the morning and keep doing my thing. And so it usually works out good like that. And so I just make sure I do. I don't make sure I'm just not wasteful with my time. It's like at night, so the one night I might stay up a little bit later and not get as much sleep. Well, then the next day when I have a chance to lay in bed and watch videos, I don't do that. I make sure I go to bed so that I can get up the next day. I hope that makes sense. And so I guess I don't feel like, oh, I'm guaranteed, you know, I need to get my time in of watching videos and my free time and all this. I don't really do that, because I know what my free time is, and I know it's in the morning, and that's when I really enjoy doing that. And so just making sure you don't waste a lot of time, I guess, is the key with things. And so then there's a whole lot of time you should be surprised in your day if you just make sure you prioritize it out. Okay, someone asked me a question about how to get book ideas and getting it published. That, I don't know. I guess, like me, I know myself when I wrote my books, like that was something the Lord directed me to do, and I did it. And I didn't really understand it. I wrote my books years ago when we first moved here, and I think about it and I go, okay, nothing really happened at that time, but I realized that was the time that I didn't get to do a lot of social. I didn't get to do all the things that I do now, because we were new here and I had a lot of quiet downtime. But I'm thankful now that I look back. If I would have just looked at it and go, why am I doing this? It doesn't make sense. Whatever. But I did it. I used the time that God had, and I wrote them. Now I see like the benefit of having all that time before, because there is no way I would have that time in my life right now. And so I know all of the books that I've written, it was just completely on the Lord's leading of what I need to do, and I just did it. And I did it within a couple days. Sometimes one I wrote within a day, one I wrote within a week and a half. That's just how it happened. It wasn't something that like I didn't sit down and go, okay, I enjoy doing this, so I want to write. No, that didn't work that way, because I don't enjoy writing that much, but I enjoy it if it's going to be encouraging to somebody else and helping if the Lord wants me to do it. And then what I did is I used CreateSpace. CreateSpace is an affiliate of Amazon, and so it's like a no-brainer, super simple. It doesn't cost you anything. You can upload, you just save it as a PDF file, you upload it, and then you can go through their proofreader. It's free if you choose the free things. You can choose for them to do all this stuff, and it costs you. But if you can do it yourself and you can just get your, the PDF, they then go through it and they'll check and make sure it's all lined up properly in the pages. And then you can look at it in your viewer. You can even design your book cover on there and get it all done. And then they'll publish it. It's like what do they call it? Print on demand. And so people buy it. They print it, and then I think mine gets printed right here in the state right next to me, which is kind of cool. And then it just gets printed as people order. And so I've enjoyed doing that myself. That's just what we use. I know there's a whole bunch out there, but they cost you. For myself, I didn't feel like that was something the Lord was leading me at all to do. It was just more of a free resource to get out there for people. And so that is something that I've used, is a CreateSpace. So go check out createspace.com, and that should help you with that. Okay, and I'll do one more question because I feel like this is my time frame, is how to survive with a new baby, especially if alone. Now, I haven't had a new baby in 6 years, but I do remember a lot of that time because I was alone. My husband worked a lot of hours when we had all of our babies, like one after the other, and it was a lot to do with me. So my best advice is to sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Sleep when the baby sleeps if you can. If you have other toddlers or preschool age children that you can't, then obviously you cannot. So I would say sleep. My biggest thing that I found was that if I felt like I'm running with kids and I was doing all these things, I felt like that I was owed some time to watch a video, or I was owed time on my, there wasn't really phones back then, but this is what would happen right now. I was owed time on my phone. I would owe these things. And then I would do it because I feel like, oh, that was it. But I realized that once I started doing that, I was exhausted and tired, and I really watched a movie, and that was just a waste of my time. And so during those first few months when you don't get a lot of sleep, just get your sleep. It is so important to have sleep. Sleep, 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 because you don't get a whole lot of it. And so for myself, when the baby would go to bed, I would go to bed that early. And so just because I just knew that my body needed it, I knew that my mind needed it, and things like that. And so that was something huge for me. If I was able to take a nap during the day, which I tried to make sure I planned out the baby and the toddlers and the preschoolers laying down, I would do that to make sure that I get those things. And just to let the house kind of go. Don't worry about all that extra cleaning, all those extra things that, you know, come along with taking care of a house. Like I know, like, yes, cleaning the top of the refrigerator, all those dusting, those things like that, those things were not priorities when I was having a baby, because I realized that, you know, eventually I would get those things done. You know, eventually you're going to get your deep cleaning. Eventually you're going to do all these things. Even I remember going through and it was like time to change out the clothes season, and I just had babies and it was not able to do it. I'm like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Eventually you will get to those things. As much as it seems like, I know before babies would come, I'd prepare, I'd clean the house and get it all really good, get my meals, get all my stuff done, and then I'd have the baby and I felt like everything just kind of fell apart again. But then, you know what, guess what? Eventually you'll have more time. Eventually that baby gets a little bit older and it sleeps a little bit longer, and then you're able to get things. Even though those first few months feel like eternity that they're going to sleep, they will eventually sleep longer and you will have more time to it. So you just got to be able to say, okay, it's okay if the windows are filthy and dirty. That's okay. It's okay that we're having the same kind of dinners for the last month. That's okay. It's okay if I feel like I haven't had a pedicure or toenail clippings or anything in forever. It's okay if I hadn't had a bath. It's okay if I hadn't had any me time. It's okay, because eventually you will get all those things back. And I promise you, I know like right now seems like probably the hardest time, but eventually it does come. And so I know for myself, it was on me 100% babies, because my husband wasn't nursing them. It was just me. And so I just had to figure it out. You have to do. If you have no other option, you usually figure it out. Like I know I've had friends that we would be in the same situations and I would watch them, and I know myself, I know myself, I just had no option. So I had to do it. I didn't have anybody else to come watch. I didn't have a family member to come and help me. I just had to do it. And I know that I had friends that, you know, if they said something to somebody, then they would have family come help them, or they'd have another friend come and help them. And I go, okay, but I realized that I look at that now and I go, okay, I'm thankful that I had to do everything, if that makes sense. And so because it's made me be able to do things, like I don't feel like I can't do things. I don't feel like I'm needy on people. I don't feel like I'm gonna crumble because I've got so much work. It's like I've just acclimated and I just do it. And so, and life gets better. It's not as busy as it was back then at all, but I've learned to do it and do it without complaining. Okay, this is it. Don't complain that, oh, I gotta do this, my husband's off working, blah, 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 and start complaining, because that gets in your heart. God knows your heart and he sees your heart. So if, okay, this is what he does, he'll give you the ability to do it. He'll give you the grace, he'll give you the tools, he'll give you the things so you're able to get all that you are able to get done in a day without having stress, without having crazy. And so that's just, it goes back to your heart, inside your heart issue. And so okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It should be pretty long here with the question and answer, and I will see, my son's going back down, it's going over the mountain. Maybe I'll give you a little view of everything here. So you guys have a fantastic day, and we will see you guys again tomorrow. Okay.